Hello, I'm now going to talk with you about Module 1 in our EPID403 course. Within this, you will learn some of the fundamental measures of disease occurrence. And it's very important, in my view, that you don't memorize a lot of these items. You'll find that many of the measures that we use, if you take a few seconds to sit back and think about it, are actually intuitive in the nature of the words that are used for that particular measure. An example might be a case fatality rate. Now, of course, one could go measure what the numerator is of that and what the denominator is of that. But if you sit and think for a few minutes, that's a measure telling you out of so many deaths due to a certain disease, how many die. That's a case fatality rate. So again, this may sound foreign to you at this point, but as you're going through the readings and the lectures on that particular topic, which happens in the second week of the course, please don't feel obligated to memorize things, but take a little time to think about what the words are for that particular measure. The next area that students sometimes have some struggles with is covered in week 3 when we learn about survival analysis and prognosis. Here we use methodologies, mathematical methodologies, to determine over a period of time how many individuals might still be alive. This is used in many kinds of studies. It's used as a statistic, for example, in diseases such as cancer. What is the 5-year survival rate of a particular cancer? So you'll learn a little bit about that, learn enough to be able to actually calculate some of those, and it'll give you a good idea of how people refer to those particular measures. And then another area that you will learn about is how we determine whether particular diagnostic tests, how well they do in predicting whether someone actually has the disease, how valid some of those measures and tests may be, how reliable they are. And these may seem at this time kind of overwhelming concepts, but you'll see that all of these measures do in fact relate to one another. So again, probably easier said than done from my perspective, but if you take a little time to sit back and look at these measures and think a little bit about them and not force yourself to be anxious about memorizing them, I think you'll do quite well. You'll know that when we have exams in this course, because it's an online course, these exams are all open book and open note, but again, they are time limited, so you'll have to be facile with these measures. And as we get closer to the first exam, the TAs and/or I will provide you with some test-taking tips for how you can best perform on those exams. And I'll just give you one example with respect to this module's material, and that is you're going to learn a lot of measures, mortality rates, incidence rates, prevalence rates. Well, probably a good way to take an exam with those kinds of measures is to have a one-sheet formula sheet where you write down all of those. That will be a lot easier as you're taking an exam rather than trying to flip back and forth in a text or your notes to find out where was that definition and what did it really mean. So we're getting at the basic elements of epidemiology in this first module, and you will use these measures throughout the course. So this is a foundational and a very important module to get you started in EPI403. So good luck.